I'm gonna explain my reasoning why. So if we go back all the way to chapter 1, right? And if we read the whole story forward, which everybody has done if you're watching this video, clearly, or at least you know, somewhere, um Luffy never cared about his lineage like that. He doesn't care about who his dad is. He doesn't care about who his mom is. He cares about the people that were there for him in person. That's what he cares about. He cares about Grandpa Garp. He cares about Ace. He cares about Sabo. That's the people he cares about. And obviously, the whole Straw Hat crew. If you there present in person, then he cares about you. If you some person that should have been, was supposed to be, but he never met you, he doesn't care because he doesn't know you. He doesn't know your character. He can't vouch for you. That's Luffy's character. He vouches for the people he sees via action, right? He's not a person with words. He deals with action. Your action proves to him who you are. Nami giving him food when he was locked up in that cell. You know what I'm saying? Zoro willing to starve to death in order to stop a kid from getting harmed. You know what I'm saying? Sanji feeding the pirate despite being told not to because he knows what it is to starve. You know what I'm saying? Usopp, despite being the most scared man on earth, willing to do any and everything to save his town. Shaking, but he was ready to fight. He will fight and die in fear. The bravest man in the oceans himself, Usopp. So this is, you know, Chopper trying to save people. All of these things, he cares about your character. That's what he cares about, right? And that's why he has conquerors, because he doesn't let stuff like lineage and other shit weigh him down. He's not ashamed of anybody he knows. He's not ashamed of anybody that he fucks with. Right? He fucks with Law, even though he knows Law took like 100 hearts, but Law also saved him. So he knows if Law took 100 hearts, he did that shit for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And Zoro is similar but different. Zoro doesn't care, bro. He doesn't care that who his ancestor is, bro. Do you know what Zoro cares about? That the girl that was supposed to be his ultimate rival is dead, allegedly. Allegedly. I'm gonna do a video on why it's allegedly. And he promised her that he will be the strongest swordsman. So all Zoro cares about is what he can do. That's all Zoro cares about. If Luffy fails and loses a battle, Zoro thinks I failed Luffy by not being there. He doesn't think Luffy failed. Right? The one time he even when, you know, when they're getting destroyed by Kuma, Zoro was the one sitting there thinking, I am not strong enough. I am not strong enough. And the reason he complained during the Kaido invasion and shit, why he complained to Luffy and even not in Dressrosa, before Dressrosa in Punk Hazard, he complained to Luffy was because Luffy told him that he's not going to let that shit happen again. And he believes everything Luffy says. Luffy says he's going to be the Pirate King. Zoro says, yes, if you're going to be, okay, you Pirate King. No matter what, you're going to be Pirate King. Was willing to die for him, kill his other dream. Like the thing that actually drove him to be anything in the first place. He was going to kill that for Luffy because he believed so wholeheartedly that Luffy's going to be Pirate King. That's how much he believed in it. He even called him his best friend when he was fighting Kaido. Right? So then, for him, then it was like, Luffy, you said you're not going to let what happened happen again. You said you're not going to do that. And I believe in you more than I believe in me. Right? Again, doesn't care about lineage. Doesn't care about nothing else. But has complete and utter faith in Luffy. Fuck it. My guy is so faithful to Luffy, he's in denial of his own conqueror's haki, bro. King tells him, like, oh, so you got conqueror, like, a king's ambition. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And he just, even though people are knocked out in front of him, I think his conquerors might actually end up being one of the most powerful versions. And I'll explain why. Because everybody that we know acknowledges their conquerors. Apart from Zoro, he refuses to, because his dream of being Luffy's second-hand man supersedes his own goals of being the strongest swordsman. And it's proven by him willing to die. Because he said, please keep Luffy and the rest alive, no matter what. Right? So Luffy does not believe he can be king of the pirates by himself. Right? He does not believe he can do it by himself. He even told Sanji, I can't be king of the pirates without you. And he knows he can't be king of the pirates without Zoro. And he knows he can't be king of the pirates without Nami. Right? But again, if any of them want to leave, he will let them leave. And he knows that the rest will pick up that weight. Right? But if somebody leaves without wanting to leave, then he feels like he failed as a captain. And that's where the whole Usopp scenario leaving fits in. It's a very interesting debacle, if I may. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's why these two are the two conquerors, because they're the only ones with this mindset. Sanji was held back by his family, right? He was ashamed of them. He let that guide him. And also his goal is just finding the big blue, rather than like, it's nothing to do, nothing insane. Zoro has to be the strongest. Luffy has to be at least one of the strongest to be Pirate King. Zoro has to be up there to be the strongest swordsman in the world. He probably has to be the strongest apart from Luffy, because Luffy doesn't use a sword. So that's the only person he doesn't have to be stronger than. So it's really, really interesting how that, like, it's played out that way. So that's why I think them two are the conquerors, because I think the faith and the belief is unwavering, right? If we look at Jinbei, it's wavering. He went under Big Mom. Zoro would never do that. Luffy would never do that. They would never do that. Luffy wouldn't even go under fucking Shanks himself, bro. That's how strong-willed Luffy is. So would never go under anybody else but Luffy, because him and Luffy he promised Luffy, he said, get my swords, I'm gonna join your crew. And Zoro, out of everybody else, is a man of his words. If he fails, it's because he failed. But it's never because he changed his mind. Zoro never changes his mind. You know what I'm saying? Unless, obviously, we talk about how he thought about Nami. And he's very good at, like, not saying shit. He's going to look at it and be like, man, I don't believe that shit. But look, if Luffy, that's what Luffy wants to do, we do it. But if he feels like Luffy, he's the only person that calls out Luffy. Like, straight up just, bro. He told Luffy, if you get Usopp, you're going to have to go through me to get Usopp back. He said, I'm going to fight all of you, including you, Luffy. If you're trying. And Luffy was, oh, shit, my bad, bro. Like, maybe you're right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Zoro's the only person that can outright call Luffy out. Nobody else can. Sanji was crying, hitting Luffy. He didn't want to do it. If Zoro ever hits Luffy, it's because Luffy has to be hit. That's the difference. And I think that's why he's a conqueror, and that's why Luffy's a conqueror, and the rest of the crew are not. But that's what I think. Let me know below. It's been your boy, Supreme the God. I took kind of a different approach to how people talk about why Luffy and Zoro are the conquerors and nobody else is, because, everybody else has talked about it already. So get a different perspective. I'm out.